I have a beautiful kitchen table, and it's time to peel away the clutter and find it again. Given the state of this table, it probably will not surprise you to hear that I have not been using it as of late, but it is time to clear all of this mess up. Right now, I am really focusing my energy on maintaining spaces, and I say that, and there's a huge pile of stuff on the table, so it's not really maintenance, is it? But I want to get this cleared off so I can get back to maintenance. And the thing is, I've discovered once again that each space kind of affects the other spaces. Because if there's not really room in the fridge or the cupboards to put things, then how am I supposed to put groceries away when I bring them inside? And thus they pile up here. And I end up just pulling stuff out of the bags, and then the bags stay there. And that is no good either. So, I've disappeared for a bit again, and things with my health are just kind of up and down. I am scheduling an appointment with my doctor because obviously things are not quite where I want them to be, and I feel like maybe some medicine adjustments might help with that. I wish I had energy, but I just don't. I got this task done in several 10-minute spurts, and even then, I was pretty pressed by the end of each one. But here's the thing, once a task gets done, it doesn't really matter how it gets done. It doesn't matter if it's all done in one session of quick activity and vigorous movement, or whether you have to struggle for every single inch of space. We're at where we're at, and sometimes we're in a better place, sometimes not so much. For this particular session, I went through and broke down, well, it's not really breaking it down if it's a bag, but I folded the bags back into place. They can be recycled, so that is the plan on that. I threw away things that can be thrown away, and then I came across some other stuff that I just sort of piled into like groups. I had a bunch of condiment packets, so I put all of those in a pile, some along with napkins, knife, fork, spoon, that kind of thing. I always felt like I had to really gear myself up for each session, and that's okay too. But the thing that I discovered, and that Lisa has told me in the past, Lisa, who has come and helped at my house before, is that it takes less time than you think it will to go through and maintain. And it especially will as I get more and more of this stuff finished, set aside, and moved out of the house. So you can see I've cleared away most of the bags, which were really quite a tower there for a while. I've got some plugs across some other little bits in this area, so time to handle it. Alright, I'm on a new session here of decluttering, and now I am going through some fresh things that have arrived. Stuff goes out, new stuff comes in. What can I say? If I could figure out how to live without eating food, I think I would. I haven't figured out how to do that though. So we are where we are. Oh, all right. I have got a trash bag that's right in front of me that you can't really see. I guess it's kind of under the table. And meanwhile, I'm just going through stuff to find all of the little bits of trash that was buried under all the piles. At this point, I'm down to some miscellaneous bits that I just need to put away. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I've also got cereal boxes, some empty ones, some that expired several months ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of that. And then, of course, I'm planning to recycle the boxes. But let's get this stuff out of the way. All these condiments. I'm just going to move that to the fridge. I don't normally keep mustard or mayo on hand, and since they came in these condiment packets, I thought I'll keep them for now so that if I have guests or whatever who who can use them, I'll pass them along. And sadly, I'm really at the point where I had to rest. I had to rest a bit in between getting up and doing stuff. So yeah, clearly a medical visit is in order. But I'm just going to keep puttering away at this. I found a USB cord. I can always use those to charge up my stuff. And here is another bag. And yeah, that was hidden under some stuff. And now it's uncovered, and you can see I've got chips in it. After I came home from the hospital, I craved chips like crazy. I don't know what that was about, but you can see that I didn't even open these two, so they can go somewhere to be used. Honestly, this kind of feels like one of the worst voiceovers I've ever done. It does not matter that I craved chips or why I haven't eaten them. But my brain is a bit foggy, so this is the best I can do at the moment, I guess. Okay, time to go through some other bags. My pile for recycling is piling up, as piles tend to do. You can see that I have got a trash bag there. It's time to actually get the old boxes out of the way. I don't need them. Gone months past its best by date or expiration date or whatever date is. Pretty sure it's expiration date on the rice checks and all of the other checks. Alright, so here's kind of a funny story. I was too tired to go out and set up the camera to film me putting trash in the bin, but I got that footage anyway because you can see the trash bin right there. Honestly, that might be the best part of the video. Was the unintentional capturing of me throwing away the trash. Alright. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. We still have a little ways to go. I am going through yet another paper bag. Ta-da! Knocking over some dog treats. Here's what's left of a balloon bouquet from my stay in the hospital. It has sufficiently deflated quite clearly, but you know, it was buried under everything. So now I'm just going through and getting this concrete piece. I don't know what to do with these. I have a couple of these, and I feel like I should try and take it to a florist and see if they'll reuse them or something, because it just seems silly to throw them away. And here is a tripod that I just went ahead and reduced the legs on them. They had been adjusted so it was way high up. I moved them down and set it aside. I'll take that to the scrapbook room, I think. That seems like a good place to put the tripod. While we watch me go through all of these bits, or many of the rest of these bits, I went ahead and scheduled my doctor's appointment. So, yay! It's about time. Oh, goodness. Yay me on that. That is something at least. And now I'm going through some mail that I had here. I don't know why. I love that we are really starting to actually see the table again. That is much needed. Here I am putting some ink pads all back in this little container. I used these ink pads months and months and months ago, probably last year actually, to ink the edges of a couple of different oracle decks that I have in my collection. Here are a couple of frames that I have. They've been sitting on this table waiting for me to figure out what photos I want to get printed and put in them. So let's move them up to the front of the table and then get all of that figured out. Here is a first aid kit, which I need to move to the bathroom. All sorts of little pieces, because for me, every single flat surface is a place that's waiting for me to clutter it. I hate that that's how it is, and I don't want it to be that way, but it's especially true when I get just very overwhelmed by where something needs to go. Sometimes I get distracted in the middle of a project, and that's not a good thing either. So the struggle is real, y'all. We are in the home stretch, people. In the home stretch. Okay, so I grabbed a cardboard box and put that in with recycling. I grabbed all of my printer paper that had made it over to this table, but not any further than that, and took that to the scrapbook room, and it will stay there until Mount Doom is addressed. Mount Doom is the big pile of boxes that are all in my laundry room, and I have a printer in there, so eventually the paper and printer will be reunited, but for now it's in the scrapbook room. Alright, I am stacking up those card decks that I have. I need to go through those decks and just make sure that the inked edges are how I like it. I don't want to put everything away if I'm just going to get them out again. And I know that I missed a couple of cards, so I need to ink up those cards as well. And then I took a bunch of the tech stuff, so the USB cord, some batteries, the mouse that doesn't actually work because I don't have the right dongle for it. I don't know what to do about that, but I'm setting it aside for now. That is a problem for future me. Now I'm just sitting down and resting. This lovely little hen was on loan to me during my surgery. My mom originally had it, and it was a comfort to her during her last months, and so I have had it there since I got home from the hospital, and now I need to return it to my sister. Now it's time to get the dog treats in place. Some chips. Here goes the last of the paper bags that need to go out to recycling. I am finishing off wiping off this table. And this is going to bring us to the end of this video. Yay! Let's go ahead and take a look at the before and after of the kitchen table. The before, and here comes the after.